Look, it's a radical change for the industry. The de minimis has been around for a long time. In fact, more recently in 2016, the Obama administration increased the de minimis up to the $800 amount. So industry had geared up for this and the requirement that gave them the exemption on the duty component. So it's a big change for that to now be scrapped, and industry has to remodel a lot of its processes and systems to accommodate it. The big changes really are that there was just such a long-term acceptance of this, and the consumer was benefiting from such a wide range of products, but now we might see a change back to more conventional models. Yeah, look, a lot of the small businesses in particular were very reliant on Australia Post as a way of easily and quite cost effectively getting to the US market. So it's going to be a big disruption for a lot of the smaller to medium-sized players. They may have to look to other service providers that are geared up for this and are ready to go. Again, it shouldn't have come as a surprise. Trump, in the lead up to the election, was talking about the introduction of tariffs, and the de minimis that was there was obviously a way to get around that mechanism. So a lot of the industry, I think, could see it coming. A lot were probably in denial, and probably some are still in denial and hopeful that there's going to be some last-minute reprieve. So again, from what we understand, there's about 4 million low-value de minimis parcels going through the US on a daily basis. So just the scale of having to deal with that across the whole industry, the actual extra customs administration and processing, it's going to be a significant challenge for even the best prepared organisations. So rather than the just-in-time e-commerce solutions that are in place now, we might see different business models altogether, where industry looks to put stock in warehouses on the ground in the US. That might change patterns to perhaps even introduce more shipping rather than air cargo. So there'll be a whole lot of different knock-on effects. For Australian manufactured goods, you've got the 10%, which has been well publicised for a while, so you've got at least the 10%. But then you've got all the extra administration costs that come with it. There may be a series of different platforms to comply with this requirement, so there will be add-ons. Look, I think there definitely is the opportunity. We've got large populations in various parts through, Southeast Asia, Europe, the UK and the like. But again, as Kai mentioned earlier, the disposable income of the US is the big attraction. So I'm sure there'll be many organisations now working out how they can re-engineer their processes, their supply chains and their solutions to still service that lucrative market.
This has really been a huge disruption for the postal industry worldwide. So there are European postal companies that are saying they won't ship to the US until they figure out a solution for this. Australia Post is working on solutions as we speak. And so from a freight forwarder readiness, there's been mechanisms in place for a long time. It just means that some of those now apply to much lower value parcels than they did before. The postal network is really the one that needs to figure out how to navigate through these changes. The company that I work for, we've seen a number of brands over the last 6 to 12 months starting to make that move to putting inventory in the US. And as they find that that move isn't as scary as they may have originally thought it was, and they can continue to operate and they see growth in their sales domestically in the US, they'll start to look to the UK and Europe, where they're currently fulfilling from Australia. They will start to look at putting inventory on the ground in those places as well. So the change to the rule, fine, it needed to happen, but to allow retailers, brands, the supply chain to plan for it, bring in the technology required to handle it smoothly, that's what is missing from this. But we know this administration moves quickly. They're not afraid to break things, and so we just need to react as an industry.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download MetroTV Extend sekarang.